Hey everyone, what's up? Yeah, I thought I'd come here and do my thoughts on this Sunday's Royal WWE Royal Rumble, the first excuse me, the first uh pay-per-view or network live the basically the first pay-per-view and the first uh live event or special event on the WWE network for 2016. Now, what's different about this year's Royal Rumble is for the second time in history, the WWE Championship, or in this case now the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, will be defended in the Royal Rumble match. The only difference between 1992 and this year is in 1992 the championship was held up. There was no champion. Here, for the first time ever, the WWE World Champion will defend the title in the match itself. The reason for this happening is from a storyline perspective, Roman Reigns has basically become public enemy number one to the McMahons slash the Authority for what he did to Triple H, TLC, and for what he did to Vince McMahon, and in his last opportunity to get the championship, and the way he's basically been disrespecting the McMahon family. So because of that, Vince McMahon said, "Okay, fine. You think you're unstoppable? You think you're unbeatable? Try to, as champion, try keeping that championship against 29 other men." So that's essentially what's going to go down at the Royal Rumble. This Sunday, and not a lot of people, according to people like Deluxe Man, are not too hyped about the Rumble match itself. The undercard they're okay with. It's like the Rumble match, though, not so much. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Let's take a look at the undercard, however, because you can't just have a pay-per-view like the Royal Rumble with just the Royal Rumble match. Excuse me. So let's see what else has been added. Now, recently, in fact, it was 3 days ago, um, a a match was made for the kickoff show. Yeah, that's right. A match was made for the kickoff show. It's a fatal four-way tag team match where the winning team will gain. Sorry, my finger at the mic there. Where the winning team will gain entry into the Royal Rumble match itself. So basically, the members of the winning team will advance into the Royal Rumble match with an opportunity at becoming WWE World Champion. Now, the kickoff show, like I said, is a fatal four-way tag team match. The teams involved will be the Dudley Boys, the Ascension, the makeshift teams of Darren Young and Damian Sandow, and Mark Henry and Jack Swagger. Now, some might say, well, why isn't Darren Young with Titus O'Neil? Right now, I guess because Darren at times has some personal issues to deal with at times outside the WWE, they decided to kind of split him and Titus up a bit. Now, they're not totally done. They're just like, they've gone to separate ways temporarily to, let Darren deal with some issues he's got to deal with. But apparently he's back on Sunday to be in this fatal four-way tag team match. He's teaming with Damian Sandow, and again, they're going up against the Dudleys, the Ascension, and Mark Henry and Jack Swagger. So the question is going to be, who wins this match? Who wins this match? And Sorry about that. But who wins this match and goes on to the Royal Rumble? Well, I would say honestly, it's got to be. I would say more than likely you got to go with the Dudley Boys, even though Bubba Ray was in the Royal Rumble last year. I'd say you have to go with them. But then again, I would also say you could pull a shocker and put the Ascension in there, let them have a shot. But I'd have to go with the two makeshift tag teams here. And more than likely, I have to go with the ones that are going to probably bring a little bit more star power in the WWE's eyes in the Royal Rumble match. And that's going to be Mark Henry and Jack Swagger. Now, I know you're thinking, well, if they want star power, they want people to talk about it, why not have Damian Sandow and Darren Young? And that could happen too. That could happen too eventually. Um, but again, I have to go with Mark Henry and Jack Swagger, especially if Vince McMahon is still, as a lot of people are saying, uh, a fan of the big guys, the big men, the muscle guys. I definitely see uh, Jack Swagger and Mark Henry going over here. I definitely see that. Now, as far as the rest of the undercard goes, um, okay, as far as the rest of the undercard goes, we have for the WWE Tag Team Championship, we have the Usos and New Day. And I know a lot of people are thinking, the tag team division is becoming a little stale again and everything. So, it's just going to be the same teams over and over. Not necessarily. I think right now it's just kind of I'm trying to give WWE the benefit of the doubt. I'm trying to say that it's more of a stalemate right now. It's like they're in a situation to where some of the talent they need is not there. I mean, if John Cena was there and not out with an injury, John would be in the United States Championship match. He would be, and I'll get into that in a second. But we have the New Day and the Usos. New Day's been champion for a long time. The question is going to be, will the Usos finally walk out with the titles, or are they going to keep them on the New Day? And I have to say that I think, honestly, right now, um, as far as history is concerned, I have to go with the New Day because they are over, probably more so than WWE expected them to be. So I'd have to say you got to go with the New Day. I'm sure a lot of people thought WWE was going to take the belts off them at TLC in that triple team ladder match, and they didn't do that. So now the question is, will they do it at Royal Rumble? I don't really think so. I think what they got planned for New Day is for them to hold the belts at least until WrestleMania, and they're going to drop the belts there. That's how I see it happening. And I have a feeling New Day is going to drop the belts to a team that's going to come up from NXT. I have that distinct feeling. I don't know why. All right, the next match is Charlotte and Becky Lynch. Now, a lot of people are assuming Becky Lynch is going to get the belt now. That WWE has got to put the belt on Becky. Charlotte's not getting over as well as they thought she would, not making that transition as well as they thought she would from NXT to WWE, that she's not getting as over as they would hope. And, or at least not getting that not getting that momentum they would hope. And, I would agree that, yeah, they should give it to Becky because if history has shown us anything, when one diva comes up from a developmental territory, especially in WWE, and they never won that developmental brand's women's title, that they're always slotted to end up winning the main roster's title. It's true. I mean, if you look at WWE's history, they have done that with various women over the years. So will they do that with Becky Lynch? It's hard to say, but I don't really know. Really, I mean, I would assume Charlotte's going to keep the belt. I would assume it. I mean, she won it back. Well, when she won it, Night of Champions. So she's had it since September. So I think she won it at Night of Champions. Let me check. Hold on. See. Yeah, it was at Night of Champions, and she's had the belt since then. So a lot of people might think, okay, it's probably time for her to drop the belt, right? Well, I think she's kind of in the same category as the New Day. That you might think, okay, she's had the belt for a while now. According to many people, she's not really getting over as much as she should. I mean, and I know some people might say, well, are you kidding, Bryan? She is getting over. She's getting over great as a heel. And I'm not saying that. Excuse me. I'm not saying that she's not getting over as a heel. She is. In fact, Deluxe Man has come out and said that her feud right now with Becky Lynch is probably one of the best things going for WWE. It's the traditional old school heel versus babyface kind of deal. So, and it's being done in a very good way. But the question is, is it enough? Has Becky done enough to have WWE decide, okay, Charlotte, it's time for you to drop it to Becky? I would say she has, but again, I look at Charlotte as being in the same boat as New Day. You know, she might be over in the eyes of the WWE official. And okay, Charlotte, she may not be as over as WWE would hope. Let me correct some of the things I said earlier, moments ago. She may not be as over as the WWE, some of the backstage WWE officials would hope, but she's been getting over as a heel, and which a lot of people say is a um, natural area for her to be in. So, um, do I think they're going to take it off her? Whether she's getting over, whether or not she's hasn't gotten over the way they would hope. I don't think so. I mean, and I know a lot of fans are thinking, well, why do you? I know a lot of you are going to ask, well, why do you think that? Well, again, getting back to what I was trying to say, I know I was fumbling my words, and I do apologize. But what I was trying to say is, I look at her being in the same category as New Day. New Day is over as over the top heels. Basically, the over as those Kurt Angle like heels, trying to be the 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 heels that are trying to be baby faces that you just love to hate and hate to love. And they're in a situation right now to where they're over enough that if WWE decides to take the belts off them, there might be a negative reaction. The same with Charlotte. She's so over, right? She's gotten, well, not so over, but she's getting over enough as a heel that, yeah, fans want to see Becky Lynch kick her ass and basically live up to her nickname as the last kicker. Fans want to see that, but honestly, I think WWE, if they play the cards right, they're gonna wait, just like with the New Day. they're going to wait till WrestleMania to take the belt off Charlotte. That's what I believe is going to happen. And from what I can almost guarantee, well, not guarantee, but I can almost see happening, is they're going to have Charlotte keep the belt to WrestleMania, and on the biggest stage of her career, she's going to defend in a multi-diva match, whether it's fatal four-way, six-pack challenge, triple threat. She's going to defend against not one, not two, but possibly four divas. And of course, two of them, as many fans are hoping and hearing about, will be Becky and Sasha, and the other could be maybe Nikki if she comes back, Nikki Bella, or if they decide it's time, it could be the current NXT Women's Champion Bayley, and that could be a huge match right there. And I think honestly that would be a huge selling point going into WrestleMania, especially for this Divas Revolution that you're trying to get over still, because if they keep the belt on Charlotte after the Royal Rumble, which I think they're going to do, and they let her keep it till WrestleMania, I think the best option for a Divas Championship match at WrestleMania is a battle of the four horsewomen on that stage. And I think anybody listening would agree. But anyway, getting back to Charlotte versus Becky, honestly, I think they should probably give it to Becky, make her allow her to join that list of talented women wrestlers that, well, on the developmental brand, never won that brand's women's title, but yet on the main roster they become the main roster's women's champion or Divas champion in this case. I would say go ahead and do that. But I have a feeling they're going to keep it on Charlotte because, like I say, just like the New Day, she's in a situation right now to where give her a few more months, and fans at the AT&T Stadium, whether it's sold out or not, are going to want to see her get her ass kicked and see one, two, or three of the ladies involved in the match with her take that belt off of her. That's what I see happening. And that match could also include Paige, if not Nikki or Bayley. So I'm just saying. Next match we have Alberto Del Rio and Kalisto. Now the reason they put the belt on Kalisto is because they're starting to finally push him, in my opinion. They're starting to finally see that, because here's the thing with Kalisto. Here's what's funny. Here's the thing about Kalisto. When he was being considered to be brought up and join full-time Sin Cara on the main roster as the Lucha Dragons, because remember, Sin Cara was going back and forth on the main roster and in NXT. So when they were deciding to bring Kalisto up, they were deciding, should we keep him as Kalisto or should we change his character and make him a gay hairdresser or a gay hairstylist. Thankfully, they didn't go the gay hairstylist route. Not saying anything would have been wrong with that. It probably would have been funny as heck. But I'm thankful they're just letting him be himself. And right now, I think they're starting to see that because they're starting to see that he's exactly what they've been looking for. Because let's not forget when Rey Mysterio kept getting injured all the time, and Kalisto was already on the NXT roster at this time, and he was starting to get over down there on his own, as well as starting to get over as part of the Lucha Dragons with Sin Cara. They started looking at Kalisto as being their next Rey Mysterio, and even when Rey left finally on good terms, from what I understand, they started to look at Kalisto down in NXT as being, like I say, that next Rey Mysterio, even more so that they would need. So now that he's finally brought up to the main roster, and he's going to be on the main roster for almost, I wouldn't say a year just yet. Well, I would say going on a year. So I would basically say that that's definitely starting. I would basically say that they're definitely starting to see that he's exactly what they've been uh, wanting as their next Rey Mysterio, which is why you saw John Cena on SmackDown basically endorse him as an opponent for Del Rio to face Ace, in which Del Rio lost to on SmackDown, and thus led us into that U.S. title match on Raw, which Kalisto won, only to lose the title the next night at the SmackDown tapings, which aired on Thursday, or which aired that following Thursday. So the question is going to be, what happens now? Does Kalisto get the belt back, or do they keep it on Del Rio? Well, I'll look at it this way. Not a lot of fans are happy at the fact that Del Rio got the belt back so quickly. A lot of fans and even wrestling observers, insiders are not too thrilled that the WWE decided to play hot potato with the U.S. title, and that the only reason they did the title change was to get a cheap pop and a cheap, you know, well, basically to get a cheap rating pop for the show. So, to me, I have to say that if you're going to keep the belt on Del Rio, then yeah, he has to beat Kalisto in this match. So I definitely think it's going to be one of the matches of the night. I think it's definitely good. It's not. I wouldn't say it's going to be a show stealer, but I definitely say it's going to be a match that people will talk about for the next few days. But if I'm WWE and I want to show that Kalisto beating Del Rio twice was not a fluke, then I have Kalisto go over here and become United States champion for the second time. Because let's be honest, right now John Cena is out with an injury. Randy Orton questionable. We don't know what his status is. I might talk about that in a little bit. Daniel Bryan, same thing. Status. I'll talk about that in a bit. You got a depleted roster right now. So I would say basically, if I'm WWE, I put the belt back on Kalisto. I put it back on Kalisto, and this, I believe, should start the chain reaction to something I'm going to talk about when I get to the Rumble match. So, if I'm WWE, I go with Kalisto. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, well, Kalisto got pinned on Monday. Sorry about that. My thumb hit the mic. Yeah, he did. But that was a tag team match, a six-man tag team match with a distraction. Okay? I mean, not a tag six-man, but that was a regular tag team match with a distraction. So, and he was pinned by Sheamus, not Del Rio. So, with that said, if I'm WWE and I see this guy as my next Rey Mysterio, I put the belt back on him. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. The next match is a last man standing match between Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, this is a match I think a lot of fans have been waiting to happen between these two. Because quite frankly, you could just do so much in this PG era that WWE's in that with guys with guys like Owens and Ambrose, that you need an element that not only they can sink their teeth into and at least have a little bit more free range to really go all out, if you know what I'm saying. But you need something that the fans can sink their teeth into as well, as far as this rivalry, this feud goes. And the last man standing match is just the kind of match to do that. Because if you look at the backgrounds of Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen, and Dean Ambrose, John Moxley, these are guys that basically have hardcore backgrounds that you put them basically in a brawl-like setting and let them go, and they can give you a match you're going to talk about. And that's exactly the opportunity they got here with the last man standing match. Now, the question is, are they going to take the belt off Ambrose? Well, so far, I've said that basically I see two champion. I see two. Basically, I've seen so far that I've said that Charlotte's going to keep her title, New Day's going to keep their title, and the possibility of the only title change I see here is with Kalisto. So if I'm WWE, and I know Ambrose, some people may say he's not over anymore. He's not as over as he was anymore. Oh, believe me, this guy's over. This guy's over. The only problem right now is he's involved in a feud, a rivalry with a guy that fans want to support and get behind as well, even though he's portraying a heel. And that's Kevin Owens. These are two guys that fans want to support each. They don't want to boo. So, to me, it's kind of up in the air for WWE, but I would have to say that if I'm going to go, it's kind of up in the air, but for me, I have to go with Kevin Owens. I have to look at it this way. If they're going to have two championships get retained and one possible championship change hands, then you got to even it out and have another change hands as well. So I have to go with Kevin Owens regaining the Intercontinental Championship. I really do. Now, if they go with Dean Ambrose, then there's a reason for it, and I'll get into that in the next match. But I have to say that as far as the championship matches, besides the Royal Rumble itself, as far as the rest, the rest of the undercard goes, as far as the championship matches on the undercard, I have to go 2 for 2. I'm looking at the WWE going 2 for 2. 2 championships retained, 2 championships changing hands. That's what I see. That's what I see. Now, we get to the main match itself, the Royal Rumble. And like I said, for the first time ever, the WWE Championship, the WWE Champion or World Champion in this case, is defending the belt in the Royal Rumble match. Now, like I said, it's not the first time that the WWE World Championship has been on the line in the Royal Rumble match. 1992, it was on the line because it was vacated. It was vacated. So it was up for grabs for anybody to get. This time, however, like I mentioned earlier, due to the storyline purposes, it will be Roman Reigns, the WWE World Champion, defending the title against 29 other men. Now, this to me could be first of all, some are looking at this as being a very lackluster Rumble, not a lackluster Rumble match, because that's going to probably be better than we expect, because this time you have the championship on the line. But I would say that the reason some fans are looking at it from a lackluster kind of standpoint is because of the hype that hasn't really been given to it. I mean, we haven't been. I mean, and I will agree with the Lex Man on this. I will agree with him on this, that we have not been given an opportunity to see anybody that could be potential favorites. I mean, we do now. I mean, we do have the obvious favorites that we see every year. Big Show, is in there. Kane obviously is going to be in there. And you got Ryback that'll be in there. These are guys that just because of the size and strength are obvious favorites. And you got the Wyatt family in there, which all 4 of them are favorites. Most importantly, probably 2 out of them being Strowman and Bray himself. So the question is, though, the question is, even though it has a lackluster hype, will it surpass that lackluster hype and be something people can talk about? Well, one of the things I always had fun about with the Royal Rumble match was, I will say this, in the past few years, and I wish they would still do this somehow. I mean, they could probably do it through the Google Hangouts or Skype or something like that. But the one thing I always got a kick out of was guys like OTR Central doing the Royal Rumble drafts. I got a kick out of those every year because basically they would choose certain numbers of they would pick out they would draw they would choose certain numbers out of the 30 that would show that of the 30 participants, and whoever they got on their roster from those 30, those would be the superstars that they would support for the rest of the year. So I always got a kick out of that, and I wish OTR Essential and Jeff, I know you're listening. I wish you guys would try to bring that back somehow. Um, anyway, anyway, like I was saying, will the Royal Rumble live up to the hype that it's lacking right now? Will it surpass it? I think it will, because like I said, this time it's not just the winner gets a shot at WrestleMania. No, the freaking winner of the Royal Rumble becomes the WWE World Champion, and then whoever they face at WrestleMania will be decided maybe at Fastlane or so. But uh, the question is though, who do I think is going to win? Well, the Lex Man, probably along with several others, said that the most obvious choices to probably win, the top three anyway, are Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, and Triple H. And that's probably a good fact. In fact, if you go to Vegas right now, because there are people that put money on things like the Royal Rumble, especially the Royal Rumble match. There's a lot of people that have a 105 that favor Triple H 100 at 105. They favor Triple H at 105 as a favorite, as the favorite to win the Royal Rumble and walk out with the championship. Now, from a storyline perspective, that might work because Triple H would basically be going by, hey, if you need, he basically be going because from a storyline perspective, you basically be having the McMahons, aka the Authority, going by the old expression of, hey, if you want something done right, do it yourself. So, if Triple H was to, enter, and I think was pretty much assuming he's going to enter the Royal Rumble and walk out with the championship, that pretty much falls into the storyline category of, hey, if you want something done, do it yourself. Now, will that happen? It's a strong possibility because if you're building towards Triple H and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, that's a strong possibility. But then again, WWE kind of threw a wrench into the plans. Hear me out. You see, they threw a wrench into the plans because now they're teasing the possibility that we could get Reigns Lesnar 2, the rematch at WrestleMania as well. So with them throwing that wrench into the works and kind of teasing that possible matchup, the question is going to be, okay, where does that leave someone like Triple H, even though he's the strong odds-on favorite according to the people in Las Vegas? Well, I think I have an idea where it's going to lead Triple H. Because if you're going to have Rock be involved at WrestleMania, now we're not sure if Rock's going to be in a match or anything. Uh, I think obviously where this leads Triple H is a match against an opponent that Rock's going to choose for him. Now, I'll talk about that in a minute. I'll talk about that in a minute. Um, but like I said, those are the three odds-on favorites. Now, here's what as far as surprise entrance in the Rumble. Yeah, we pretty much will get surprise entrance. Some we may see coming, some we may not. Um, I mean, of course, we all pretty much expect. I think we all pretty much expect AJ Styles to enter the Rumble. Um, but that might change because it's been leaked out. But I think it's too obvious right now not to make that happen. Because because it's like I said before. It's like I said before. Um, when I talked about will AJ Styles keep his name in WWE, when I did that video, I basically said that if you don't think, I think I said in that video something that if you don't think those people in Orlando, Florida, basically one of TNA's backyards and home bases, a place that a place in an area that AJ Styles wrestled at for about what was it, 12 years or so, 12, 11 years. If you don't think they're going to be chanting for AJ Styles to be in this match, and if they're not expecting AJ Styles to be in this match, WWE would have to be crazy not to make it happen. Because here's what I think could happen if they don't allow AJ to enter the Rumble match. This is what I think could happen. Like I was saying, here's what I think could happen. Because, like I said, if you don't think those fans in Orlando, Florida, who I'm pretty sure a majority of them that's going to be in that arena have been to Impact tapings at Universal Studios, if you do not think they're going to be expecting AJ Styles by chanting his name, if WWE thought they had a problem on their hands with the Daniel Bryan thing several years ago when he wasn't in the Rumble match, and even last year when he got eliminated early, they might even have a bigger problem if they don't bring AJ Styles out as an entrant in the Rumble. So I believe AJ will be in the Rumble because it would be too stupid on WWE's part not to make it happen. Now, as far as other surprises go, apparently I do think we might get another surprise. I mean, WWE pretty much spoiled it's themselves. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe there's a chance we could see Austin Aries in the match. That would be something. So that I'm not saying it could happen because he's not set to debut until the March 2nd episode of NXT. But since WWE has pretty much thrown it out there and said, "Hey, Austin Aries is here," I think it would be too obvious for them not to put Austin Aries in the Rumble match as well. Uh, so I do see him showing up. I do probably see maybe someone like Jushin Thunder Liger in there, perhaps to get some international flavor. Same with the NXT champion Finn Balor and Samoa Joe and Hideo Itami. I do see them showing up because, like I said, right now WWE has a depleted roster, so they need as many people as they can get. So I do see some of those guys, coming in as surprise entrants and somewhat making the main roster WWE debuts or the debuts on the main roster. I do see someone like Baron Corbin showing up and making an impact because he's a guy that's pretty much big. He's getting better. His matches with Joe and several other guys have shown that he's getting better at what he does. So I would see him showing up as a surprise entrant. I see Apollo Crews. What I'm saying is that even though it won't be many, I see, as far as NXT stars go, Balor, Joe, Corbin, Apollo Crews. I see those four guys. I see four, as of right now, WWE guys, uh, four NXT guys officially, and if you want to count Austin Aries in there, 4 to 5 NXT guys showing up in the Royal Rumble match, making their debuts, even if it's a one-night deal. I see that happening. I really do. Again, I do expect AJ Styles to be in there because it'd be stupid if he wasn't. I think WWE would be stupid if they didn't make it happen, especially knowing where they're going to be. I would expect maybe, like I say, maybe Jushin Thunder Liger to be in there. I would expect perhaps Nakamura to make an appearance. I'm not saying that's a possibility, but it could happen because, like I say, they're lacking star power. They need to get some people in there. I mean, right now, who do they have? Let me see. Let's see. They have Big Show. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. They got 16 guys, so they would need essentially 19 more. They have 16 guys, so they would need essentially uh, they have hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. They have 18 slots filled up, so they basically need 12 more slots. And I see 4 to 5 of those slots being done by NXT stars, 4 or 5 of them. One of them by AJ. So with those 4 or 5, I I've taken up. You got 19, 20, 21, 22, possibly 23 with Aries, maybe 24 with 24, 23, 23 or 24 with AJ if Aries isn't in the match. So you got about 24 slots. You got 6 more to go. So I would definitely say Hideo Itami, or I would say Sami Zayn makes his debut in this one. So that's another one right there. Hideo Itami makes his return in this match. I say Rhino shows up. So I say Undertaker shows up. That's going to be a big one. And I say, of course, Kane's going to show up. So yeah, you're pretty much this is what I look at. You got 18 that I've talked about. You got the possibility of Joe, Balor, Corbin, Atami, Zayn. That's 5 NXT guys, right? Current NXT guys right now. Two making their one making his return to the main roster in Sami Zayn, which I have an idea of when they might bring him in, and the other being Atami making his return to action. So that's 5 slots. That's one, two. That's Balor, Joe, Corbin, Zayn, Atami. That's 5 slots. So you add that to the 18. That's 23. Then you add AJ to it. That's 24. So you got 24 slots there. And then you add possibly someone like Aries that can make 25. You need 5 more slots. So that's why I think someone like Kane's going to come into play. That makes 4 more slots. Undertaker makes 3. There you go, right there. Triple H, of course, is going to make it up to Triple H is going to be that's 2. So that's 2 more slots. So Triple H. So you got 2 more slots to fill, and honestly, I think one of them is going to go to Nakamura. I really do, and I think the other is going to go to Jushin Thunder Liger. So there you go. Those are the ones out of the 5 NXT guys, and along with the other and AJ Styles. Some of the others I believe will be in the Royal Rumble match. Now I mentioned earlier that if Triple H does not win, because like I said, they threw a wrench off on Raw that we could end up on the past 2 Raws that we could end up with Reigns Lesnar 2 at WrestleMania. So basically, if they go in that direction, the question is going to be where does the WWE put where does the WWE put Triple H? Where does this leave Triple H? Well, I think honestly, Triple H, he's going to get eliminated in this match, and I don't think it's going to be by Lesnar. I don't think it's going to be by Reigns. maybe it's just me, but something is telling me he's going to get eliminated if WWE brings him in and does exactly what they does the smart thing and makes him debut in this match. And you want him to and you're treating him as a big deal. You're paying him the big bucks. I think honestly, Triple H is going to get eliminated, and he's going to start a program because you want, like I said, you want to get this guy over because you're treating him like a big. You're trying to treat him as a big star. Gave him an offer he couldn't refuse. I think Triple H, if he doesn't win and he ends up getting eliminated, it won't be by Lesnar. It won't be by Reigns. He'll be eliminated if he does. If he doesn't win and he ends up getting eliminated, it'll be by AJ Styles. Hear me out. Hear me out, because they're treating AJ like he's a big deal, right? They gave him an offer he couldn't refuse. I think honestly, this is a great way to solidify him as a main event player. And you could go maybe in a storyline kind of way with him, where sort of in a work shoot kind of style. Well, I wouldn't say work shoot, but kind of play off his previous experiences, where he can come out and say, "Hey, look, when I used to travel around the world, and I was down in, and more recently I was working in places like Nashville for promotions in Nashville and Orlando, for promotions in Orlando and in Nashville. I dealt with people that tried to choose who they wanted as champion and not what the other people wanted as champion. So, um, I think that'll be a great. So I think if they do something like that, maybe not if because what I'm saying is if they don't have Triple H win and they have him get eliminated by, let's say, AJ Styles, that basically sets up AJ Styles in a big way as saying, "Hey, we're taking this guy seriously. We're treating him like the star he's basically earned the right to be. We're putting him in this program with Triple H." I mean, think about it. When Sting came in, yeah, he was already a big name. There's no doubt about it. You could have put him in a program with Undertaker or anybody at WrestleMania. Who's he ends up in a program with? Triple H. All because he's been foiling the authorities' plans. You insert AJ Styles into a similar situation, and you could have a big blockbuster match on your hand. Now, I know you're thinking, well, Bryan, you talked about all these guys that could be coming in. What about Daniel Bryan? Well, I would say this. If you don't get Liger, Daniel Bryan's in that spot. That's what I feel. If you don't have a Tommy cleared or Liger available, I'd say one of them, or even Balor, I'd say one of those spots will be taken by Daniel Bryan. So if you don't have one of the NXT guys or someone like Liger available, I'd say that's going to go to Daniel Bryan. And I know you're thinking, well, WWE hasn't cleared him. Well, that's true. The doctors haven't, but everybody else has. And I think, just like with AJ Styles, they would be stupid not to get this guy in the match, because fans are going to want to see it. And I think, my personal opinion, I think WWE is hiding the fact that he's cleared, and they're just waiting to bring him in. And they'll probably, if they want a lot of buys, they want people to watch the replays on the network and on pay-per-view. You bring Daniel Bryan in, you bring him back in, you let him return at the Rumble. So that's what I believe should happen. That's what I believe could be with Daniel Bryan. Could happen with Daniel Bryan. If we don't have a Tommy or Balor, this is what I look at. If we don't get Liger in the Rumble match or Tommy or Balor, we're going to get Daniel Bryan. He's going to take one of those spots if one of those guys aren't available. So, because honestly, my personal opinion, I think he is cleared. I think WWE just wants to wait to the Rumble to bring him in. And I think a lot of people listening to this might agree with that. So, but as far as who I think is going to win the Rumble, right now sources are indicating that we could have a finish similar to what we had with Lex Luger and Bret Hart. And then later on, John Cena and Batista will both men go out. So I could see that. So I could definitely see them doing that, probably to build up to Lesnar and Reigns at WrestleMania. I could see that. some are saying it might happen at Fastlane. I wouldn't say it necessarily will happen at Fastlane. I would say maybe a contract signing or something. But I would say knowing WWE, they might hold that off until WrestleMania. But we'll just have to wait and see. According to other sources, the plans for Lesnar to go up against the Wyatts. So that might happen, which would leave the door open for Reigns and Triple H. We'll just have to wait and see. But according to several sources right now, it looks like we might get a double finish. But if we don't get a double finish, I'm definitely gonna go with what everybody's predicting. Because pretty much, Don Toady, Kevin Castle, Solomonster, Deluxe Man, Schleg Daddy, everybody has said this. On Raw recently, Stephanie McMahon, even in character, pretty much kind of gave away a spoiler and the result of the Rumble match and who was going to win. So if that is the case, then yes, I do agree it's going to be Roman Reigns. So, but that we'll just have to wait and see. We'll see what WWE has planned. Maybe they might switch it up. Maybe they'll go with Triple H. Maybe they'll go with Lesnar. Maybe they'll go with the double elimination at the end. We'll have to wait and see. So that's all I'm going to say, folks. And that's all I'm going to say on my Royal Rumble, on my thoughts, on my predictions of the 2016 Royal Rumble this Sunday. Thankfully, I will be off and I will be watching. So let me know what you guys think about what's going to happen. Sorry, this audio video was long, and I'll talk to y'all later.